You knew a video was coming about this. So much Star Wars stuff got announced yesterday that it absolutely blew my mind. So let's just get right into it. Welcome, all fellow wannabes. Welcome to the channel. I am Gabriel Fast. I do claim to be the wannabe critic. Really fast. I hate doing this, but I need to do it more. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. I try to make a video every single week. We do podcasts, interviews. We talk about topical subjects. There's a lot of gaming content here. It would mean the world if you would just hit the subscribe button as well as the bell. You'll be notified every time I make a video. Now that we got that out of the way, holy crap! There was so much Star Wars stuff announced yesterday. It was insane. We got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right in. It's no doubt, we've seen a lot of success from The Mandalorian. It would only make sense that they would start to spin off some more live action series. As you can tell, I'm a big Mandalorian fan. I got Baby Yoda on my hat. Also, I am a fan of the sequels trilogy. I love it all. I love all of Star Wars. It all has its flaws. It all has its issues, but I love all of it for what it is, and I enjoy all of it for what it is. But this kind of all blew me away from all these announcements we got yesterday. But it's no doubt The Mandalorian success. We would start to see more series kind of in that same vein. We know, Kenobi was rumored. There was a rumor about a Boba Fett show for a while. We don't know if that's going to happen yet. Now we have confirmation about a lot of other shows that we're going to be getting. So let's start with the biggest ones first, the ones that are most interesting to me. Ahsoka. This is a no-brainer. Rosario Dawson killed it in her episode as Ahsoka Tano in The Mandalorian. And, there were some things, I'm not going to spoil anything just in case you haven't watched it, but there were some things hinted at, that big fans of Rebels and big fans of just extended universe stuff are going to really dig, I think. And there was a lot of that kind of hinted at in her episode, so it would make sense if that's going to be the direction that she's going, then we could potentially see some pretty stinking cool stuff come out of Ahsoka's show. Ahsoka's episode is personally my favorite episode of The Mandalorian as a whole. I think it did a really good job of bringing the more grounded sense of Star Wars as well as the more fantastical sense of Star Wars and kind of bringing that together. And I just really love seeing, I love seeing the things that made us fall in love with Star Wars first, kind of be brought to the fold. So I can't wait to see how they're going to do that with, Ahsoka in her own show. I think it's really exciting. Plus, it's really awesome that another show that also takes place around the same time as The Mandalorian, as well as, Ahsoka takes place around the same time as The Mandalorian as well. Rangers of the New Republic. Are we going to see basically like a Cara Dune spinoff where she's kind of doing her own thing and going with those Rangers we saw in The Mandalorian? And, there's going to be like other bounty hunter show with Cara Dune. Like basically it's Cara Dune's version of The Mandalorian. Is that what we're going to see? I have to admit, I didn't actually watch this event, so it's much more fun for me to just speculate on the ideas. And you can tell me I'm wrong in the comments because I was watching the Game Awards last night whenever all this stuff was happening. But it would make sense to see kind of Cara Dune get her own show and do that thing because of what was alluded to in The Mandalorian. And I don't know, I'd be down for it. I'm down for anything Star Wars. It was fun watching her throw those butt face guys around, quite a bit, like a sack of potatoes. That was the best. Next on the slate that got announced was Obi-Wan-Kenobi. Now, this has been generating a lot of hype, a lot of buzz around the internet because Hayden Christensen is in fact returning as Darth Vader to be in this show in some way, shape, or form, which I thought we all hated Anakin, you know what I mean, in the prequel trilogy, but I think if you've watched the Clone Wars, it makes Hayden Christensen more likable and more understandable, and, let's face it, he killed it in Revenge of the Sith in a lot of ways, and it's hard to not think of that fight scene with him and Obi-Wan as being one of the most, if not, probably one of the most iconic lightsaber fights in Star Wars history, right up there with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon Jinn. I would say that even Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight is even better for a plethora of reasons, but we won't go there right now. I'm really excited to see what Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to be about. No doubt it's probably going to be a more, war-torn, kind of like older Obi-Wan Kenobi that's kind of keeping an eye on Luke on Tatooine, and maybe we see him kind of draw more and more away from the Force. It could kind of make sense. I mean, you kind of see it. Maybe Vader comes back to him in more of like a vision type thing rather than actually, like being face-to-face with him. I don't know. I could see a bunch of different things happening. Alls I know is that Ewan McGregor is an awesome actor, and I think whatever direction they want to push it, you know what I mean? If they're going for like a more of a grounded approach and they're not going to do a ton of lightsaber stuff and like going to save like a big lightsaber thing for the end of the series, and it's like we don't really see him use his lightsaber that much, that could be kind of cool too. There's just a lot of things that can happen that are super duper exciting with that show. Next, in terms of excitement, I have to say the new Andor series looks pretty interesting. Here's the deal. I'm not like the hugest Rogue One fan of all time. It's a great movie. I think it's awesome. I think it does get more praise. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say I think it is overrated, but I do think it's very good, and it does extend the world of Star Wars. It gives us a better look as to things, you know, that were happening before A New Hope and that whole jazz, and really bridges the gap between a lot of what we see in the prequel stuff versus what we see in the mainline, you know, OG trilogy type thing. But I really liked Andor in Rogue One, and to be able to see him kind of do his thing in his own, I think it's a TV show. It's either a TV show or a movie. I can't remember which one, but okay, I just Googled it. It looks like it is a series. It's an actual TV show. Just wanted to make sure I fact check myself. I think that could be really interesting to see more of kind of like his backstory, and like, you know, because we kind of just see him come on the scene in Rogue One and he's just like cutthroat, like, look, man, I'm on a mission, and if you're in my way, you're in my way. Sorry, pew. I am interested to see where this series would go. I think it's one of those things that just kind of expands the lore of Star Wars. It gives us more of an insight, more of a live action insight as to what was going on around the rise of the rebellion, so to speak, and things like that. So yeah, I'm all on board for it. I think that's going to be awesome. No doubt Rogue Squadron, I think it's a movie. That seems like it's going to be really cool. You know, we've seen more and more flight action kind of going on in the video games. It only makes sense that now they're going to bring more live action. A movie where it's just about pilots. The pilot thing has never been like spoken to me as much as it has to other people. I think it's cool for sure, and I'm definitely going to watch it. But, you know, even if it's anything close to like the similar fighting as to what we saw in Rogue One, or even in the other Star Wars movies, you know, if it's done right, I think it could be really cool. There's nothing like being inside the cockpit of what we view as, you know, an X-Wing type thing, and it'd be awesome to see that kind of live representation on screen. So yeah, I'm all down for it. I think it's going to be awesome. Then I think the last one that had my hype the most was probably Star Wars Visions, which is going to be basically a series of animated shorts, you know, almost kind of like anime is kind of what they're making it sound like, but they're all Star Wars themed, and like they're all kind of like a series of different anime-ish type stories. I'm a sucker for anime. I love anime. I love the art style. It's just really a different way to express a story. And there was a Star Wars manga that came out a while back that was basically just the movies regurgitated in manga form, and it was like, oh, this is awesome. It really spoke to me as, you know, a youth. I would love to see something like that kind of come to Disney Plus, you know, as some animated shorts that were anime-esque. Almost like the Animatrix, remember that one? That could be really dope. But that's kind of like the biggest things that are like have my hype at the moment, you know, that have my attention that I'm like really, really excited for. Looks obviously like we're getting more Mandalorian. I think that's a given. We have Mandalorian, Lando, Star Wars, a droid story, which if you listen to my podcast, you know, we're not too hot on the droid stories. Like, why do we need droid, you know, why do we need droid episodes? I don't know. I guess there's an audience for it, whatever. We have Star Wars, The Acolyte, and then we have Star Wars, The Bad Batch. And there were some other things that were mentioned: Children of Blood and Bone, Willow, and Indiana Jones. So I think I covered everything that got announced, you know, on kind of like the Star Wars, like Lucasfilm side of stuff. There was a ton of Marvel stuff that I just don't have time to talk about right now, but there was a lot of stuff there as well. But you know me, I'm a sucker for Star Wars, and I had to make a video about this and talk about it. Plus it got requested this morning, so wanted to make sure I could get that in. But anyways, what do you think of all of this news? Do you think we're going to be getting content on the same level as what we've seen in The Mandalorian? Are you kind of skeptical about some of these projects? Like, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and to hit that bell so you can be notified every time I make another video. Whatever possessed you to check out the podcast or the YouTube channel today, I just want to say thank you so much for doing so. If this is your first time here, I would appreciate it, you know, if you would consider subscribing. As you can tell, it's not just me here anymore. I mean, I do stuff by myself, but the podcast is going to reside here from now on, you know, in video form. So if you want to see more content, if you want to be notified, you know, every time we post something, whether it be a clip, a podcast, a review, an interview, whatever it may be, if it's gaming stuff, make sure you click that bell and hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time. Thanks for sticking around, and thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. I'm Gabriel Fast. I will always be the wannabe critic.